One man checked into a hotel late at night. The next morning he told the manager, "Something strange happened to me all night in room 425. The manager looked at him in confusion and replied, "Sir, our hotel doesn't have a room 425. So where did he actually spend the night?" Today's story is about that mystery. It was around 10:45 p.m. on a freezing December night in Colorado, USA. 36-year-old Mark Anderson had been driving through the mountain roads for hours. After an exhausting day behind the wheel, he was too tired to continue. When he spotted a modest roadside hotel, he decided to spend the night there. At the front desk, he asked for a room. The hotel manager checked the reservation system, handed him a key, and said, "Your room is on the 4th floor." Mark thanked him, grabbed his bag, and took the elevator upstairs. When he stepped onto the 4th floor, he walked down the hallway. The room numbers appeared one after another: 422F, 424, 16, 418, 420. Just beyond room 420, there was a short hallway to the left. At the end of it, he saw a door clearly marked 425. He glanced at the key in his hand, assumed it was his room, inserted the key into the lock, and the door opened. The room looked completely ordinary: a neatly made bed, a desk, a telephone, a wall clock, and a chair beside the window. Everything seemed perfectly normal. He unpacked his bag, took a hot shower, had dinner, and turned off the lights around 12:30 a.m. But he didn't stay asleep for long. At around 1 a.m., he woke up to a faint knocking sound. Knock, knock, knock. It didn't sound like someone was knocking on the door. It felt as though the sound was coming from the wall just outside it. He listened for a few seconds before opening the door. The hallway was completely empty. No one was there. He closed the door and went back inside. Less than 5 minutes later, he heard someone slowly walking down the hallway. It wasn't the sound of shoes. It sounded like someone wearing socks, quietly walking across the carpet. The footsteps stopped directly outside his room. A few moments of silence, then they slowly moved away. This time, Mark didn't open the door. He convinced himself it was probably another guest. A few minutes later, he noticed something strange. The wall clock had stopped. It showed 2:25 a.m. He checked the time on his phone. It was 1:43 a.m. His phone was working perfectly. He looked back at the wall clock. It still read 2:25. Suddenly, the room's telephone rang once. He picked up the receiver. No one spoke. The only sound was slow, distant breathing. A few seconds later, the line went dead. Mark was beginning to feel uneasy, but he tried to stay calm. He walked over to the window and pulled back the curtain. His car was still parked outside, but in the reflection on the glass, for just a split second, he thought he saw another shadow standing beside his own reflection. He immediately turned around. The room was empty. When he looked back at the window, the shadow was gone. He convinced himself it had to be exhaustion playing tricks on his eyes. As he tried to fall asleep again, he noticed something even stranger. A shadow slowly passed beneath the gap under the door, from right to left. A few seconds later, it moved back, from left to right, as if someone had been pacing outside his room for several minutes. Unable to ignore it any longer, Mark opened the door. The hallway was completely empty. Again, a chill ran through his entire body. Just before sunrise, he finally managed to fall asleep. Around 8 a.m., he woke up. Everything seemed perfectly normal again. He packed his belongings, went downstairs, and returned the key at the front desk. Mark said, "Something very strange happened in room 425 last night. I heard footsteps outside my door, received a phone call with nothing but breathing on the other end, and even the wall clock changed its time by itself. Has anyone ever reported anything like this before?" The manager looked confused. "Sir, which room did you say?" "Room 425. The manager immediately replied, "No, sir. I gave you the key to room 420. Our hotel doesn't have a room 425. Mark frowned. "No, I'm absolutely certain. I unlocked a door marked 425 with my own hands." The manager said, "Come with me." The two of them took the elevator back to the 4th floor. When they reached the end of the hallway, Mark suddenly stopped. The place where he had entered room 425 the previous night now contained only rooms 420, 422, and 424. The hallway ended there. There was no extra corridor, There was no additional door. Mark looked around in disbelief. That's impossible. It was right here. I walked through this exact hallway. The manager calmly replied, Sir, you must be mistaken. I've worked in this hotel for 18 years. We've never had a room 425. Mark couldn't say another word. He stared one last time at the end of the hallway. There was nothing there, only a blank wall. And the manager's final words echoed over and over inside his mind. Sir, our hotel has never had a room 425.